Hello my friends, it's Danny, and today I am sharing a brand new 6 to start menu. This time we're going Whole30. Now, if you're not familiar with 6 to start, this is my easy, doable, family-friendly approach to meal prep, where I choose a combination of 6 foods/meals to prep on the weekend and then have as head start ingredients throughout the week. This keeps healthy eating very easy once the week gets going. Now, the way I keep the menu balanced is I choose 2 dishes that are rich in protein, 2 that are veggie based, then 1 good quality carbohydrate, and either a smart start or a sweet treat. Now, when I started this series earlier this month, I got a lot of requests for a Whole30 menu. So that's what I'm bringing you today. The Whole30 is a dietary approach that's technically an elimination diet where you're focusing on real whole foods and you are eliminating grains, sugar, alcohol, soy, dairy, and legumes. So it's very much like the paleo diet, but a bit more restrictive. So for today's menu, our protein-rich dishes, I've got some grain-free meatballs and my slow cooker salsa chicken. Then for our veggies, I've got a sauteed broccolini with some lemon and garlic and my go-to weeknight green salad. And I've got a bonus recipe for you because I'm also gonna show you my go-to vinaigrette. Then for our smart carbohydrate, we're doing some roasted spaghetti squash. And to round it all out, we've got a smart start. I'm making my Western egg muffins. So don't forget to use the hashtag 6 to start all throughout the week so we can stay connected all on the interwebs. And let us get started, shall we? Okay, so for the meatballs, this is an extremely simple yet very flavorful recipe. The first thing that I like to do is I grab a rimmed baking sheet and I just lie a wire rack right on top of that and I brush it down with a little bit of olive oil so nothing sticks. I like doing it this way because it allows all the heat to circulate around the meatball, plus any extra fat kind of drips to the bottom of the pan. But if you did not have a wire rack, you could certainly just line your baking sheet with some parchment paper or even a silicone mat. Then into a nice big bowl, I've got 1 pound of grass-fed ground beef, and to that I'm adding 1 beaten egg, some finely diced onion, and then a teaspoon each of Italian seasoning, garlic powder, and kosher salt. And then I'm gonna finish it with just a little bit of black pepper. Then using my hands, I'm just going to mix this together until it's just combined. You wanna be careful not to over mix the meat because then your meatballs could be tough. Nobody likes a tough meatball. Then you're gonna scoop up about a heaping tablespoon of the mixture and just roll it right between your palms, just like this to form a ball. You want it to be about the size of a golf ball. Place it on the wire rack and repeat until you've worked through all of the mixture. You're gonna end up with somewhere between 16 and 20 meatballs. I myself got 19 out of the deal. Then I'm gonna pop this into a 350-degree oven and let them bake for 20 minutes. You're gonna see after 20 minutes, they're gonna be cooked through. So then I just let them cool completely and then transfer them into an airtight container and they're ready to go for the week. Meatballs are a great head start ingredient. You could serve them with some of that spaghetti squash we're gonna roast up later and a little bit of tomato sauce. You could put them alongside your favorite green vegetable, or you could chop them up and put them on top of a salad. So many different options and they are all absolutely delicious. Okay, so next up is our slow cooker salsa chicken. And I am telling you, this is the easiest recipe you will ever make. So what you wanna do is get some boneless, skinless chicken breasts and just lie them right in the bottom of your slow cooker. You do wanna be mindful to keep it in a single row. You don't want it to be piled on top of each other. Then on top of the chicken, I'm adding in some sliced up onion and a sliced up bell pepper just to sneak a little extra veggie into the dish. And then I'm pouring a jar of salsa right over the top. Pop on your lid and then you can either cook this on high for 3 to 4 hours or on low for 5 to 6 hours. Now, just a few things to note. Number 1, you can make this recipe with frozen chicken. So this recipe really can be your best friend. If you're in a hurry, you can go right from the freezer into the crock pot. You're just gonna need to let it cook a little bit longer. Number 2, again, if you're in a hurry, you can skip the extra onions and peppers. Like I said before, I just add them in there because it adds a little extra vegetable, a little more texture, but this recipe would be equally as delicious with just the chicken and the salsa. 2 ingredients, easy peasy. And then number 3, I want you to think about the salsa that you choose. You wanna pick something that you enjoy because this is where we're gonna be getting most of the flavor for the dish. So if you don't want a spicy chicken, make sure you're not picking a spicy salsa. Personally, I love to pick a chipotle salsa because it has a lot of flavor and a lot of warmth, and it's got the spice without the heat. So it's really delicious, and it's also very family friendly. And then finally, anybody who's really focusing on the Whole30 aspect of this menu, you want to make sure that you are picking a salsa, and same for the tomato sauce, that's super, super low in sugar. If you read the ingredients, there should be no added sugars in the ingredient list. Now, once the chicken is cooked through, what I like to do is I grab a plastic cutting board, then I gently pull the chicken out. You're gonna see that it's very tender, so it could break apart, so just be gentle with it. And then using a fork, you're just gonna gently shred the chicken apart. And this is gonna happen very easily. Once I've got all my chicken shredded, I like to shut the slow cooker off. Then I get the chicken back in, really mix it up with the salsa, let everything hang out for a minute while the chicken cools off so all those flavors come together. And then once it's cool, I transfer it into an airtight container. Again, this chicken is super versatile. You could put it on top of a salad with some avocado and a little extra salsa and make it like a taco salad. You could put it on top of that spaghetti squash that you're gonna be roasting up. If you have some kids in the house who maybe are not following the Whole30, it's also great in quesadillas and tacos and burritos. And it's also lovely on top of a rice bowl. So you could put it on top of brown rice with avocado, or if you wanted to go Whole30, you could put it on top of some cauliflower rice with the chicken and then some avocado as well. All delightfully delicious options. Okay, so moving right along, next up we have roasted spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash is a winter squash, and when you shred it, it has these long spaghetti-like strands. So it's a lovely substitute if you're not doing traditional pasta. Do keep in mind, it is a squash, so I'm not trying to sell you on the fact that they taste exactly the same, but it really does work when you're steering clear of traditional pasta. Now, it's very easy to work with once you have it open. So you need to start off, you need to have a nice, heavy, strong knife. And I like to start by trimming off the top and the bottom of the squash. Then I stand it up, get your knife over the top, and just gently rock back and forth so you get a little momentum, and then slice straight down. Once you have your two halves, you're gonna see that there's a bunch of seeds in the center. So just take a spoon and scoop them out along with any of those strands in the middle. Just scoop all of that out. And do remember that these seeds are no different than pumpkin seeds, so you could certainly save them and roast them up the same way you would pumpkin seeds. From here, I get the squash onto a rimmed baking sheet that I've got lined with a little bit of parchment paper, and I season it up by brushing a little bit of olive oil over the top, and then I'm just gonna season it with a little bit of kosher salt, some black pepper, and then some garlic powder. Flip these upside down so they're skin side up, and pop this into a 425-degree oven for about 35 to 40 minutes, depending on the size of your squash. When it's done cooking, it'll be a little softer on the outside. I like to flip them over. You can see it has this nice golden brown on the edges, and just let it cool until it's cool enough to work with. Then you're gonna grab your fork and you literally just start to kind of scrape away, and you can see these long strands start to pull off the squash. Transfer that into your airtight container, and you've got it ready to go for the week. Spaghetti squash will be delicious with those meatballs, with a nice low sugar tomato sauce. You could also do the spaghetti squash with any type of green vegetable you like or prefer. And I also love it with some chopped herbs and just mixed together. So delicious. Okay, next I'm showing you one of my favorite green vegetables. It's a sauteed broccolini with some lemon and garlic. Now, broccolini is also sometimes called baby broccoli at the grocery store, but this is what it looks like. It's like a little leafy green vegetable. It's very tender, super delicious, and easy to work with. So I give it a good rinse under some cold water, and then all you need to do is trim off the ends, okay? Then to cook this, I'm using my cast iron skillet. I love my cast iron skillet. It really is one of the only pans you will ever need, but if you don't have one, you could really use any saute pan that you have. So I'm gonna heat that over a medium-low heat. And then once it warms up, I'm gonna add in some olive oil, along with some chopped up garlic and a big pinch of red pepper flakes. Once the garlic is fragrant, we are not looking for it to brown, in goes the broccolini, along with some chicken broth. This could also be veggie broth or even water if that's all you had. Then I'll season this with some kosher salt, some black pepper, and then I just put some lemon slices around the pan. Just laying them in there just like that really infuses a beautiful lemon flavor. From here, you're gonna pop on a lid and just let this simmer away for about 20 minutes or so, or until it's nice and tender. It's gonna depend on how thick your stems are, so you might wanna check it after about 10 minutes or so. But definitely visit it and just move the broccolini around the pan once or twice while it's cooking, because the bottom of the pan is gonna be hotter than the top. So if you want it to cook evenly, just rotate it a few times. Once it's done, it should be this nice, bright, vibrant green. And then what I do from here is, again, I just let it cool down a bit, and then transfer into an airtight container. This broccolini would be delicious with your spaghetti squash, with your meatballs, with your shredded chicken, and I also love to chop it up and scramble it into some eggs. So many options. Hashtag so many options. So the next veggie that we've got on hand is very simple, but I love having this ready to go ahead of time, and it is my go-to green salad. Now I find the key to having the family, aka the kids, enjoy salad is to use crunchy vegetables. So I always start with some romaine lettuce. Always make sure that you wash your romaine lettuce really well, and then I put it in my salad spinner and make sure that it's nice and dry before I get it into my containers. If you're gonna be doing any type of raw vegetable ahead of time, it's important that they're dry before you store them. So a salad spinner is great for that. So I've got 2 large containers here. I'm putting the romaine on the bottom of each of those. And then I'm gonna add in some crunchy red cabbage that I've sliced up, some sliced carrots, celery, some chopped up cucumbers, and then right over the top, I do some sliced up radishes. Now, if it were the summer, I would do some tomatoes, but since they're not really in season right now, I like doing the radishes during the colder months. And that is it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I always say that I am usually willing to eat a salad, but not always willing to make a salad. So having it prepped and ready to go really is half the battle. And I felt like I couldn't share my go-to green salad without sharing my go-to vinaigrette, so you all are getting a bonus recipe. Grab a mason jar, and it's great if you have one of these because you can make the dressing in it and store the dressing in it. And then I'm gonna start off with 2 cloves of crushed garlic right in the bottom. Then I add a little bit of dried oregano, some kosher salt, and some black pepper. And then we've got 3 tablespoons each extra virgin olive oil and balsamic vinegar. Now you could also do a red wine vinegar or any vinegar that you fancy here. That's a great place to play around and get creative. Pop on the lid, shake it up, and your salad dressing is ready to go. I usually leave this right on the counter for up to 5 days or so. You can also pop it in the fridge, but if the fridge is really cold, the oil is going to solidify. So you have to pull it out ahead of time if you want it to come back down to room temperature before serving. That's just a friendly tip for y'all. Okay, and for my final 6 to start recipe for the Whole30 menu, I am making my Western egg muffins. Now I've showed these to you quite some time ago. Now these are great because they're a protein-packed dish that are perfect for breakfast. You could also enjoy them for lunch or as a snack, and they're like grab and go. So very convenient when you've got a busy week rolling. So the first thing you need to do is get a 12-cup muffin pan, and you need to grease it really well. So you can either do this with some oil, you could do it with some butter, or you could do it with some cooking spray. But make sure that you have a really good pan, because full disclosure, I've never had this problem before, but when I made the muffins today, a lot of them stuck to the pan, which I really didn't understand because that's never happened to me before, and I greased them really well. So I think it's because my pan is really old. So make sure you have a good pan and that it's well greased. Then I like to prep the filling. So I've got some diced up onion, some diced up bell pepper, and a little bit of diced up ham. And this ham is coming from a ham steak, which is basically a pre-cooked steak that you would find at the grocery store near like the bacon and the sausage and the Canadian bacon. It is already cooked, so you don't need to worry about anything. You're just gonna chop it up and mix it up with the other ingredients. Now, once you've got those all together, I just like to do my best to evenly divide them amongst the muffin cups. So you're just gonna place a little bit of the mixture at the bottom of each muffin cup. Then, if you've got it, use a big spouted cup like I have here and crack 12 eggs. So you need a dozen eggs, season them with salt and pepper, and then use a fork or a whisk to break them down and get them mixed together, just like this. Once the eggs are ready to rumble, you're going to, again, do your best to evenly divide amongst all 12 cups. I always say it's better to underfill, and then if you have leftover, go back and add a little bit more, rather than overfilling at the beginning and then running out before you finish all the muffin cups. Once you've got that all set up and ready to go, into a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for 20 minutes or until they are set through the middle. If you should pull them out and they look loose in the middle, just give them another couple minutes in the oven. Then I let them cool down to room temperature or to a temperature where you're comfortable handling them. And then you want to run maybe a knife or something right around the edge to loosen them up. And then hopefully your muffin will pop right out of the pan if you've got a good muffin pan and you greased it really well. Transfer these into an airtight container and you'll have them ready to go for the week. Again, my favorite thing with these is really just kind of grab and go. If you're on your way out the door, you need something really quick and really easy, they are perfect and they're ready to roll. My kids actually really enjoy them sliced up and put on some bread or on like a little sandwich. And you could of course chop them and put them on a salad. I mean, you could do anything you want with them. You're free to eat your eggs how you please, okay? So please do that. And then report back and let us know how you're eating your eggs because we're a community and we share. And I know you think I have all the ideas, but I don't. I need your thoughts too, okay? Okay, so there you are, my friends. We have done it yet again, another 6 to start menu with a Whole30 bin. So I really hope that you see that you can take this meal prep approach and use it with any type of dietary approach or lifestyle that you prefer. It really just makes healthy eating a whole lot easier. So please come on down to the comments below. Let me know which of these dishes you think you'll try first, if not all of them. Do remember that we're staying connected throughout the week on social media by using the hashtag 6tostart. And if you have not already, I would deeply appreciate it if you would take a moment to subscribe, like, and share this video with anybody else you know who wants to make healthy eating easy. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Danny Spies, and I will see you back here next time with some more clean and deliciousness. Cheers! And eliminates sugar, alcohol, grains, legumes, soy, and dairy. Take from the top. Sugar, alcohol, grains, dairy. There's a lot of boop, boop, boop. Serving.
What are you doing?
Moving right along. Moving right along. No?